Brodes Media.
You know how difficult it is to come to South Philadelphia and win in January? That's not the first time you had me ask that question, but I had so much belief in it, and you just watch for a third straight NFC Championship game, a team get annihilated, decapitated. I'm seeing heads flying off of bodies. That's how much they were kicking Washington's ass. It was lovely. But they did the same damn thing to San Francisco last year by getting to their quarterback. Their 70-plus sack team got to the QB. Nobody wants to see him go down, but he did get hurt because of the greatness of talent on the Eagles' defensive front. And it was a blowout. Minnesota. I think about that Minnesota game every day of my life. I wake up, and you would think the first thought would be, yo, Brodes, maybe go into the bathroom and put some Listerine in there, huh? How about you brush your teeth? I go, Corey Clement, dreams and nightmares, back of the end zone. Nobody was beating us on that given day. That's the first thing I see in my brain. Am I sick? Maybe. I love this team. We all do, though. Those videos along Broad Street. You kidding me? That's not normal. But it is. It means so much. I saw a TikTok, and it was a woman who was not from Philadelphia, who was living in Philadelphia, and she was expressing how she admires, as someone who doesn't follow sports at all, that there is something unique about how when you're walking in Philadelphia, everyone's saying go Birds. Everyone's wearing Kelly Green. Everyone is wearing some sort of sports apparel and repping the Birds, and that's everything anybody talks about. And we think of that as normal. Yeah, it's what you do. You go to Wawa. Hey, Bill, how's it going? John, it's going great. You saw Ertz last night? Yeah, I saw Ertz last night. He ended up having a beautiful game and threw for 4 tutties. You know, I'm just spitting numbers now. I know he didn't throw for 4 tutties. I'm in my bag, all right? Let me cook. But that's what we talk about. This outsider is in love with how we do it. It's different to her. It's just different here. This is how it should be, and I love it. Broad Street was beautiful. There are a few things, though, before I get into my first reaction of a rematch with the Chiefs. There's still a few leftovers from what transpired against Washington. And one thing I want to do is I just want to show Nick Sirianni and Jalen more love, because what they went through was hard. When you win 14 games and you're a second seed in the NFC, and you're having a lot of success winning a ton of football games, it's normally not as hard as it is emotionally to get through. Now, whether they did it to themselves, whether some of it was unfair, whether a good portion of it was fair, coming off of how last season ended, Regardless if the linemen wanted to make a shift with the philosophy to go to a run-heavy offense, Nick had an open-door policy, which is what makes him very special, his connection to hear out his team. He then accepts, applies, bada bing, bada boom. We have 2 Super Bowl appearances in 3 seasons as a tandem. You had the A.J. Brown, Brandon Graham, Jalen drama. You had Nick Sirianni ripping apart fans behind the bench in a greasy win. There have been doubts about Jalen every week nationally. Chris Canty is still saying to this day, even if Nick Sirianni beat the Commanders at home, he deserves 0 credit because all he did was stay out of the way. I mean, are you fucking kidding me? That's probably as bad of a take as what was being said about Chris Sims, that if you take away 5 or 6 plays, the Eagles would have lost to the Rams. Are you dumb? I mean, I couldn't believe he got paid a check to make that comment. And same with Chris Canty. Dude was in the league. Right, you're in the league. You should know how hard it is to get to the NFC playoffs, let alone host an NFC Championship game, let alone 2 Super Bowl berths in 3 years. If I could talk right, that would be nice. But, 2 Super Bowl berths in a couple of years. When you lose a Super Bowl, do you know what normally happens? It's hard to get back up. And they were on pace the following season with 10-1, 11-1 before a very rare, ridiculous collapse. So it got low. It's as low as anything we've seen, really. That type of collapse, that's low. They picked themselves back up in this way. You're not going to give the head coach of the football team any credit for that? And you think all he did was step away? How about that fourth down call? That fourth down call, that's balls. That's stones. It's a big play made by both of them, the coach and the decision to go for it, which was definitely a risky one. That wasn't a no-brainer one. 4th and 5 with a couple minutes left to go? Come on, man. Listen, I know you once had a take and you want to stay strong on your take. It's okay to have more information and change your thoughts. I didn't like Nick Sirianni early. I even mentioned maybe it would be a good thing if he got canned. This dude is a great NFL coach. He's a great NFL coach. He just does it in a way that is different. And I'm rewiring the same way I rewire with Jalen. But Jalen, while he still does it in a very only Jalen can do it like way, he can still ball out too. You saw those throws. That was one of his best passing days. It was so crisp. Getting the ball out on time, trusting his receivers, throwing it in open space. If you feel you felt a certain type of way about opinion you stated through 4 weeks of the Eagles season, I won't blame you for that. We all were very frustrated because we saw the talent. But now, he deserves his flowers. He's got to finish the job. And I think everybody's aware of that. A.J. Brown made it very clear that the last time around, he thought it would be, or maybe not he thought it would be a certain way, but he went into there and thought he was some sort of actor in a way. He said it like that, where he was, a paid guy to go to the answer all the questions. It's a ton. It's a lot to go through. And part of me was rooting for the Bills in that second half in the AFC Championship game because, Pat Mahomes and Andy Reid and Travis Kelce and Spags, they're there every year. So we could actually have an advantage from some of our guys and personnel and guys on our staff know what that experience is like. You got to stay focused. You got to stay locked in. You got to manage your time properly with all your meetings and all the interactions with media, and you're bouncing around a bunch of different ways. That's an advantage to know what it's like. And it seems like AJ is very vocal about that side of it. Look, he seems locked in with the book, and that keeps him motivated, and he feels he's good from a physical standpoint, but the game is X% mental for him and for everyone, but that's just the way he psychologically deals with it. And I'm not surprised to hear this is his thought through it too, because he seems to be about, let's make sure that mindset's right. So here we go. We got AJ cooking already, thinking about the next couple of weeks. It's going to be a fun ride for sure. I want you to enjoy it while at the same time wanting to be here because I feel this. I don't want to wait 2 weeks, but there's something special about, all right, you react to what you saw in the NFC Championship game. You talk about the big storylines, the anticipation. And I know a lot of non-Eagles and non-Chiefs fan thinks this is boring because, it's two good teams. Now, football-wise, it's going to be war, okay? It's going to be a bloodbath in those trenches. This is a heavyweight fight. This is, we got two guys that are throwing haymakers in the center of the ring or the octagon. We got some big heavyweight throwers out there in their respected ways. They do it in different ways, but this defense, if they can peanut pop another ball loose or two, and you have Kelce fumbling the ball in the red zone, oh man, I need this football game in my veins now. But my original thought was, I don't care. You want to bring me the dynasty? Bring me the dynasty. We're going to have to take down another one just like we did with the New England Patriots and Tom Brady. Then let it be. All right, that's the way the cookie crumbled, and it's time to go to work. But as the game was playing out, I realized, I think we could definitely have a better chance of beating the Bills just compared to the Chiefs, and I'll give you my thoughts here in a second, but I'm saying I would have liked our matchup more against the Bills than the Chiefs. I still like our matchup. So here's my statement. No matter what is talked about over the next 2 weeks, the Eagles are winning the Super Bowl. I believe the Eagles will win the Super Bowl. But I respect Kansas City in a way that I haven't respected any of the teams we saw in the NFC playoffs, and I probably wouldn't have respected the Bills nearly as much either. If I'm being frank, I think that's crazy. We're talking about a team going for a three-peat here with Andy Reid and Patty, who finds a way. The same way Jalen finds a way. The same way that Jalen has those intangibles and that it factor. The next level of that is whatever the hell you want to call Pat Mahomes, which isn't human. He's just got the whole damn package. But that elite it factor Jalen has. But so do they. And Spags, damn good. It's going to be a challenge. A challenge I believe this group is mentally and physically prepared to go up against and win. You got a hungry squad. The way Jalen's wired is probably best case scenario for us. Everybody has seen the picture of him walking off the field in Arizona. Get the sod father out of my face too, by the way. I want nothing to do with that guy. Go from 70 sacks to I can't do anything on a slippery ass field. But you're sitting here and you're watching Jalen Hurts walk off the field with all the confetti of gold, of red, of white, head down, almost sort of understanding the moment as he's leaving the field. Come on. You don't think this dude is ready? You don't think this dude is as sharp as he is gonna be? It needs to be. You don't think the dude's gonna be fucking ready to go? Because I do. That's why this whole he can't read a defense crap that I've been hearing for years now is so ridiculous. All the dude does is check into stuff that's successful. Knowing Jalen, you're telling me something he can control, which is film study, which is attention to detail, which is watching what defense the other team is in, their formations, cover three, whatever. You're telling me a controllable of absorbing as much knowledge as possible is somehow not going to be enough for Jalen and the IQ of the game? He may not be able to change his arm. He may not be able to change where he is physically. But I'll tell you what, when it comes to the details of tape study and film and scheme and what other, you don't think this guy is obsessed with learning it all? He's checking into touchdowns in the playoffs. And he can read defenses. He even had a little remark about being in a straitjacket. Now, that's an interesting comment. Does that mean that Nick Sirianni limited him? And I've always said if Nick Sirianni and Kellen Moore limited him because they didn't trust in him, that doesn't mean they're right to do it. And I don't think that's the case because I think Nick and Jalen's relationship and their bond, I think it's genuine. I think there's real love about that. And while there may have been things incorporated into the game plan with their run game and leading on other strengths, if they come together as one and we're open saying, yo, if we run this amount, we pass this amount, we keep you around 2021, this is going to be our philosophy. We don't turn the rock over. This formula is going to win games. And with Jalen being as in love with winning more than breathing air, he accepts, he acknowledges, and he goes. But it doesn't mean if they have to dig into a different side of him, they can't. They just like their overall philosophy of how things were playing out. And now that maybe you had some one-on-one matchups to take advantage of with A.J. Brown, well, the recipe was there. If there are opportunities there, he can make those plays consistently. He can do it in the passing game. You had favorable matchups, A.J. Brown, boom. 4th and 5. That was the game. That was a game-changing play, 4th and 5.